Today, we will explore 7 painful yet extraordinarily valuable lessons that we can learn from C.S. Lewis. These lessons, drawn from his life, his faith, and his works, invite us to reflect on love, loss, pain, faith, and hope in ways we may have never considered before. From facing the reality of suffering to understanding the importance of sacrifice, from accepting death to pursuing truth, even when uncomfortable. These lessons challenge us, comfort us, and above all, teach us to live more fully and meaningfully. The first one is, pain is an instrument of change. In moments of suffering, when pain envelops our hearts like a dense fog, it may seem like we are walking alone through a dark and unfamiliar valley. Lewis's journey through the dark valley of suffering, as detailed in The Problem of Pain, offers deep and reflective insights into human nature, suffering, and the Christian faith. Confronting the acute pain of losing his wife, Joy Davidman, he writes, "Getting over it so soon?" But the words are ambiguous. To say the patient is getting over it after an operation for appendicitis is one thing. After he's had his leg off is quite another. After that operation, either the wounded stump heals or the man dies. If it heals, the fierce continuous pain will stop. Presently, he'll get back his strength and be able to stump about on his wooden leg. He has got over it. But he will probably have recurrent pains in the stump all his life, and perhaps pretty bad ones. And he will always be a one-legged man. There will be hardly any moment when he forgets it. Bathing, dressing, sitting down and getting up again, even lying in bed will all be different. His whole way of life will be changed. All sorts of pleasures and activities that he once took for granted will have to be simply written off. Duties, too. At present, I am learning to get about on crutches. Perhaps I shall presently be given a wooden leg, but I shall never be a biped again. Suffering, though inherently painful and often difficult to comprehend, carries significant potential for personal and spiritual transformation. Suffering plays several crucial roles in human life in the Christian journey. Know that every tear shed, every deep sigh, every moment of despair does not go unnoticed. Like stars shining brighter against the darkness of the night sky, so is the love that surrounds us, even when least perceived. There is a greater strength, a loving presence that sustains us, embraces us, and leads us through the shadows into the light. Suffering, however arduous, carries seeds of growth and renewal. Like rain falling, bringing new life to parched earth, so can our trials transform us, nurturing our souls with understanding, compassion, and profound resilience. We are being shaped, refined, prepared to bloom in ways we never imagined possible. Suffering serves as an awakening, a severe yet necessary call to the reality of our need for God. In The Problem of Pain, he suggests that God speaks to us through our pleasure, but shouts at us through our pain. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. Suffering, therefore, can be seen as a divine tool meant to break our complacency and self-sufficiency, leading us to a deeper and more sincere dependence on God. Lewis would also emphasize the role of suffering in character growth and purification. Just as gold is refined by fire, so are our souls purified through trials and pains. Suffering confronts us with our own weaknesses, failures, and sins. It humbles us and makes us recognize our inability to face life on our own. This process of purification is essential for us to become more like Christ, developing virtues such as patience, perseverance, compassion, and genuine faith. 2. Human love is ephemeral. In moments of loss and farewell, when love seems to fade like the morning mist, we may find ourselves lost in a sea of sadness, questioning the purpose of loving when love can be so ephemeral. In The Four Loves, Lewis explores different types of love: affection, friendship, eros, romantic love, and agape, unconditional love or charity. Lewis acknowledges that human loves, affection, friendship, and eros, are inherently imperfect and can be ephemeral, subject to change and even termination. However, he sees these loves as means through which we learn to love more deeply and truly, moving us towards agape, the love that is selfless and reflects more closely the love of God. Thus, even the transient nature of human loves has value, serving as a school for spiritual and moral growth. In our journey through life, we encounter the ethereal beauty of love in its many forms. each leaving an indelible mark on our soul. Human love, in all its glory and pain, is a dance of shadows and light, a fabric woven with threads of fleeting moments and lasting memories. Though love may at times seem ephemeral, slipping through our fingers like grains of sand in the wind, it offers us lessons of profound wisdom and truth. Lewis does not ignore the pain that accompanies the loss of human loves. As seen earlier in his deeply personal account of his grief after the death of his wife, Joy Davidman, Lewis directly confronts the pain of loss. He writes about the challenge of reconciling his deep love for his wife with the brutal reality of her absence. Through this process, we realize how love and loss can lead to a deeper understanding of oneself, of God, and of the nature of true love. 3. Abandoned pride, considered as the great sin that is at the root of all other sins. In his works, especially in Mere Christianity, Lewis examines how pride can corrupt the essence of the human being and distance them from both God and others. Pride is essentially competitive by nature. It is not about having more, but having more than the next person. This competitive nature of pride leads us to constantly compare ourselves to others, resulting in envy, resentment, and a sense of superiority or inferiority. This comparison is destructive to our relationships, as it prevents us from genuinely loving others, making us self-centered and focused on our desires to be more than others. In moments of struggle and challenge, when the weight of the world seems immense and the path ahead uncertain, it is natural to feel overwhelmed and alone. However, even in the darkest hours, there is a light of hope and an invitation to embrace humility. A virtue that, far from diminishing us, reveals the true greatness of our humanity. For Lewis, pride is the fundamental barrier between man and God. In pride, man seeks to elevate himself, placing himself in the place of God, desiring to be the master of his own destiny and the arbiter of his own worth. This reverses the natural order of things, as it puts the creature above the Creator. Pride makes us forget our dependence on God and our need for His grace, distancing us from the humility essential for true communion with Him. Being humble is the true acknowledgement of our position before God and others. Humility frees us from the need to constantly compete, allowing us to find satisfaction and value not in being better than others, but in our relationship with God and in serving others. Humility paves the way for true love, for authentic relationships, and for a life in genuine community. 4. Death is a part of life. Death is often seen as a separation, a painful end to the connections and experiences we weave throughout our lives. It brings with it sharp pain and insurmountable longing, leaving a void where there once was laughter, conversation, and presence. And yet, within this same pain, we find a powerful reminder of the love we shared, the fragility of life, and the importance of living each day with purpose and meaning. Death is not the end, it is a passage to a deeper and eternal reality. In several of his works, especially in the Chronicles of Narnia, Lewis uses metaphors and allegories to describe death as a gateway to true life. This theme is vividly illustrated in the conclusion of The Last Battle, where the characters discover that what they considered to be the end is only the beginning of their true story, which is going to begin now and last forever. Despite his realistic approach to the suffering that accompanies death, he also offers comfort. He reminds us that, for the Christian, death is the beginning of life in the presence of God, a life free from pain, suffering, and separation. The hope of resurrection and the promise of new creation offer a perspective that transforms mourning into joy, not denying the pain of loss, but placing it in a broader context of redemption and renewal. In this moment of reflection on death, may we find not only acceptance, but also a deeper appreciation for the precious gift that is life. May the awareness of our mortality inspire us to live more fully, to embrace those we love more tightly, and to find joy and meaning in the simplest moments. 5. The need for forgiveness. Forgiveness is an act of immense courage and generosity, a true gesture of strength that reflects the depth of our hearts and the greatness of our souls. However, we recognize that the path to forgiveness can be filled with challenges, doubts, and pains. Yet it is also a path of healing, freedom, and renewal. Forgiveness is seen as essential for the reconciliation and restoration of broken relationships. In Matthew, then Peter came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Up to 7 times? Jesus answered, I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times. By choosing to forgive, you are not only releasing someone from their emotional debt, you are, more importantly, freeing yourself from the chains of resentment and bitterness that weigh upon your spirit. This is an act of self-love as much as it is an act of love for others. You allow yourself to breathe more freely, to make room in your heart for more joy and peace, and to walk lighter through life. In his work, Lewis not only emphasizes the importance of forgiveness, but also explores its difficulties and the transformation it can bring about in both the forgiver and the forgiven. Forgiveness is also presented as a means of personal liberation from resentment and bitterness. In Ephesians 4:31-32, Paul exhorts Christians to get rid of all bitterness, rage and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. Remember, forgiving does not mean forgetting what happened or minimizing the pain that was caused. It also does not require you to restore a relationship to what it was before. It does mean, however, acknowledging the pain, allowing yourself to feel and process that pain, and then choosing to let it go so as not to carry its weight in your heart. In his writings, Lewis highlighted that forgiving is to imitate God. He often reflected on how God forgives us despite our faults, suggesting that by forgiving others, we are following the divine example. The same is said in Colossians 3:13. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. 6. The importance of questioning and doubting. If you're going through a period of doubt and questioning, know that you're not alone on your journey. Doubt, although it may seem like an unwelcome visitor, is an integral part of the human experience, especially on the path of faith. It's not a sign of weakness, but an indication of your profound search for truth and meaning. Lewis writes, can a mortal ask questions which God finds unanswerable? Quite easily, I should think. All nonsense questions are unanswerable. How many hours are there in a mile? Is yellow square or round? Probably half the questions we ask. Half our great theological and metaphysical problems are like that. He didn't see doubt as necessarily opposed to faith, but as a natural and often essential part of a person's spiritual journey. In his works, he suggested that facing and exploring our doubts, rather than avoiding or suppressing them, can lead to a richer understanding and a stronger faith. He understood that true faith is tested and refined through challenges, including questioning and doubt. When facing your doubts, I encourage you to remember that faith doesn't demand the absence of questioning, but the presence of trust, even when answers seem distant. Allow yourself to express your uncertainties and fears to God, knowing that He is listening. Seek community and dialogue with others who may share your experiences and offer support. Faith is often a collective journey, not just a solitary path. In James 1:5-6. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. This passage encourages seeking God for wisdom in times of doubt, highlighting the importance of faith in this process. However, it also acknowledges the reality of doubt, likening it to the instability of sea waves. Even in Matthew 28:17, after the resurrection, when Jesus appeared to the 11 disciples, the Bible says, when they saw Him, they worshipped Him, but some doubted. Furthermore, consider that the act of questioning can be a means for God to shape and refine your faith, making it more personal, alive, and authentic. Every question you ask can be a seed for deeper understanding and a stronger relationship with the Creator. Finally, know that it's okay not to have all the answers right now. Faith, at its core, involves walking with confidence even amidst the fog of uncertainty. God doesn't require us to walk this journey with blind faith, but with an open heart, willing to learn and grow even in doubts. May you find comfort and strength in the assurance that your doubts are not a hindrance to God, but a path through which He can guide you to a deeper and more meaningful faith. May your journey through doubt lead you to renewed confidence and lasting peace. 7. Gratitude. In moments of pain and adversity, it can seem almost impossible to find reasons to be grateful. Pain, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, has the power to darken our view of the world, making it difficult to see beyond our immediate suffering. Pain is an inescapable part of the human condition, a universal language that we all, at some point, learn to speak. It teaches us about our own vulnerability, about our need for others, and about the impermanence of all things. But paradoxically, within pain, there are also seeds of growth, understanding, and yes, gratitude. Being grateful amidst pain doesn't mean ignoring or minimizing your suffering. It's not an act of denial, but of profound courage and affirmation. It means acknowledging the rays of light amidst the darkness, the moments of beauty and kindness that persist despite everything. Gratitude helps us remember that even on the darkest nights, the stars still shine, even if we don't see them. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Gratitude has the power to transform our emotional landscape. It can help us shift our focus from our losses to our blessings, easing the burden of sorrow and making space for joy and peace. Expressing gratitude connects us to others. Sharing our gratitude, even for small things, can strengthen bonds with those around us, reminding us that we are not alone on our journey. In Colossians 3:15-17 it says, "And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you were called in one body. And be thankful. And whatever you do, in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him." Here, gratitude is seen as central to maintaining peace in the heart and foundational in all our actions. Hey there, did you enjoy delving into the depths of C.S. Lewis's teachings with us today? If you felt inspired and want to explore these valuable lessons even further, we have a special gift for you. But before that, if you're not already part of our community, now's the time to join. Click on the subscription button below the video, enable notifications so you don't miss any of our future content, and of course, if you found this video valuable, give it a like. It really helps us out. Now, about the gift, for all members of our channel, we're offering a free ebook until the end of April that delves even deeper into Lewis's teachings, exploring how his ideas can be applied in our daily lives. This material is exclusive and has been prepared with a lot of care for you. To get yours, simply check the description of this video or the pinned comments, where you'll find the link to become a member, if you're not already, and how to download your ebook for free as soon as it's available. Don't miss this chance to dive deeper into the thoughts and reflections of one of the most influential authors of the 20th century. Join us, become part of our community, and let's together explore the legacy of C.S. Lewis. Until the next video.
Have you ever wondered how God communicates with us about the restoration of our wasted years? We all have periods in our lives that we look back on and wish we had used differently. Maybe it's time we spent in unhealthy relationships, or years we gave to a career that wasn't fulfilling. These are what we often refer to as our wasted years. In the Christian faith, however, there is a beautiful promise that God can restore these wasted years. This restoration is not about turning back time, but about God's power to bring good out of our past mistakes and missed opportunities. Understanding God's messages to us is essential, especially when it comes to recognizing the signs of this extraordinary restoration. Today we'll explore a fascinating topic, the 7 signs that indicate God is about to restore your wasted years. So what if I told you that you could instantly take control over an incredibly powerful subconscious force that's right under your nose? Curious? Now let's delve into the 7 signs that indicate God is about to restore your wasted years. Sign 1, new opportunities. The first sign is the emergence of new opportunities. Imagine a door that was previously closed, mysteriously swinging open, revealing a path you never thought possible. This is often how God signals his desire to restore what has been lost. Consider the story of a man who, after losing his job unexpectedly, was presented with an opportunity to start his own business, a venture he had never considered before, but ultimately led to success beyond his wildest dreams. This was not a coincidence, but a divine intervention, a sign of God's restorative power at work. Fresh opportunities like these are not just about getting back what's been lost. They are about getting back more than what was lost. They are about abundance, growth, and new beginnings. So keep an eye out for fresh opportunities. They could be a sign of God's restoration plan. Sign 2, inexplicable peace. The second sign is experiencing an inexplicable peace. Imagine you're in the middle of a storm, a tempest of life's trials and tribulations, yet you feel serenity in your heart. That's the kind of peace we're talking about. It's the kind of calm that doesn't make sense to the outside world because it's divine. It's beyond human understanding. It's like being in a boat in the middle of a stormy sea, yet feeling completely safe and secure. This peace is a sign of God's presence and His plan to restore. It's His way of letting you know that He's got everything under control. He's shaping your path, even if you can't see it right now. It's a powerful reassurance, a divine whisper in your soul saying, "I am with you." So if you're experiencing a deep sense of peace, it's a sign that God is working in your life. Sign 3 and 4, dreams and prophecies, and unexpected blessings. The third and fourth signs are dreams and prophecies, and unexpected blessings. Now, dreams and prophecies might seem a bit mystical, but they can indeed be channels for divine messages. Consider this. You're having a series of dreams where you're flourishing, or perhaps you receive a prophecy from a trusted spiritual leader, all pointing towards a season of restoration. These aren't mere coincidences, but divine orchestrations. Then come unexpected blessings. Imagine you're walking your everyday path, and out of nowhere, a blessing lands in your lap. It could be a job offer, a financial gift, or even a healing. These aren't just your run-of-the-mill good luck charms. They're signs from above, signaling that God is at work, restoring what might have been lost or wasted. So pay close attention to your dreams, listen carefully to prophecies, and welcome unexpected blessings. Remember, God can use dreams, prophecies, and sudden blessings to signal restoration. Sign 5 and 6, inner transformation and positive changes. Around the 5th and 6th signs are inner transformation and positive changes around you. Imagine a caterpillar, cocooned in its chrysalis, slowly undergoing a metamorphosis. It's a process that's unseen, intimate, and profound. This is much like the inner transformation that takes place when God is restoring your years. It's a deep personal change that begins in the heart and radiates outward. You may find yourself letting go of old grudges, releasing past hurts, and embracing forgiveness. You might discover a newfound strength, resilience, or patience you didn't know you possessed. As you change, your perspective on life changes too, and you start to see the world through a lens of grace and gratitude. Now, let's consider a seed. When planted in fertile soil, it begins to grow. First, it sends out roots, then a sprout, and eventually it becomes a flourishing plant. This is akin to the positive changes around you. As you transform internally, the world around you begins to shift as well. Relationships may heal, opportunities may arise, and situations that once seemed insurmountable become manageable. It's as if the universe is conspiring in your favor, aligning circumstances to aid in your journey of restoration. Let's take a look at the story of Joseph in the Bible. He went through years of hardship, from being sold into slavery by his brothers, to being unjustly imprisoned. Yet in the midst of these trials, Joseph underwent an inner transformation. He grew in wisdom, humility, and faith. And when the time was right, God restored his years, not just by reuniting him with his family, but also by raising him to a position of great influence. So if you're experiencing inner transformation and positive changes around you, take heart. God is at work. He is taking the broken pieces and weaving them into a tapestry of restoration, turning the years the locusts have eaten into a harvest of blessing. It's not an easy process, but it's one that's worth it. Remember, just like the caterpillar and the seed, the most beautiful transformations often happen in the dark, and the most fruitful seasons often follow the most barren ones. So hang on. Your restoration is on the way. Sign 7 divine connections. The 7th sign is forming divine connections. Divine connections are those relationships that God specifically orchestrates for our benefit. They are people who walk into our lives not by accident, but by divine intervention. They bring with them wisdom, guidance, support, and sometimes they even hold the keys to doors we've been waiting to open. Let's take a moment to consider the tale of Ruth and Naomi. Ruth, a Moabite woman, finds herself widowed and in the company of her equally bereaved mother-in-law, Naomi. Despite her own suffering, Ruth stays with Naomi, and through their journey, they form a divine connection. This connection leads Ruth to Boaz, her future husband, and brings her into the lineage of Christ. Ruth's story is a powerful testament to how divine connections can change the course of our lives. So if you're making new divine connections, it's a clear sign that God is restoring your wasted years. So these are the 7 signs that God is about to restore your wasted years. With new opportunities on the horizon and an inexplicable peace in your heart, you're already on a path of divine restoration. Dreams and prophecies might be guiding you, and unexpected blessings are a clear sign of God's work in your life. Witnessing an inner transformation and positive changes around you are further indications of God's grace. Lastly, divine connections, those relationships that bring you closer to your purpose and destiny, are a sure sign of God's restoration plan. Remember, God's timing is perfect, and His restoration encompasses every aspect of your life. It's a journey, so stay patient, stay faithful, and embrace the signs as they come. Are you ready to transform your life and reach levels of success and happiness that you never dreamed possible? Frequently questions. 1. What does it mean for God to restore my wasted years? Restoring wasted years refers to God's ability to transform periods of your life that you might perceive as lost or unproductive into something positive and fruitful. It involves turning past difficulties and missteps into opportunities for growth and blessings. 2. How can I recognize the signs of restoration? Signs of divine restoration can vary, but often include new opportunities, a newfound peace despite circumstances, meaningful dreams, unexpected blessings, inner transformation, positive changes in your surroundings, and the emergence of significant new relationships. 3. Are these signs guaranteed to manifest for everyone? While many believe in the manifestation of these signs, their appearance and timing can differ vastly from person to person. Faith, context, and personal belief systems play significant roles in how or whether these signs are experienced. 4. What should I do if I observe these signs? If you notice one or more of these signs, consider reflecting on your life's path and your spiritual relationship. Engage in prayer or meditation to seek clarity and guidance on how to respond and take advantage of these signals. 5. Can I encourage God's restoration process? While the restoration process is believed to be divinely led, maintaining a positive and open mindset, practicing forgiveness, pursuing personal growth, and staying spiritually connected can foster an environment conducive to restoration. 6. Is it possible to mistake ordinary events for signs of divine restoration? Yes, it's possible. Discerning divine signs often requires deep spiritual insight and sometimes guidance from spiritual mentors or leaders. Always consider seeking multiple perspectives when interpreting potentially divine occurrences. 7. Does God restore wasted years only in spiritual ways, or can it be in practical, everyday terms too? Many believe that God's restoration can manifest in very practical ways, such as new job opportunities, improved relationships, or sudden improvements in health, as well as in more spiritual or emotional forms, such as increased peace and spiritual awareness. 8. What if I don't see any signs of restoration? Not perceiving signs does not mean restoration isn't coming. Continue to live your life with intention and faith, focusing on personal growth and resilience. Sometimes signs become apparent only in hindsight.